Hey YouTube, good morning here, January morning from the farm. Um, it's a very beautiful day today. I actually slept in late. Last night I did the review of the space heaters. Um, staying out here at camp. I'm running the electric heat now. I didn't have very good luck with the first space heater I ran. It just didn't seem to have the power. But there's my yellow extension cord, and just to give you an idea, it's a 100-foot cord, and it runs all the way over to that building. So maybe I am losing power in the draw of it all. Something I just noticed we'll take a look at is the way the snow is rolling off the building. I think people might appreciate that. So we'll actually take a walk around this building real quick. So yeah, I got my 100-foot cord, runs all the way through the snow here and into the building where I can plug in. We'll walk over here, say hi to the old cow here. Yeah, it's that building is neat, how the way the snow just curled off of it. So we'll walk over. Hi, old girl. Good morning. But yeah, it is just an absolute beautiful morning here on the farm. Very peaceful. So last night, probably had a good buzz on, but I did a heater review. The icicles hanging off the roof on this side. But last night I did the heater review. I wasn't having very good luck with the first space heater I tried. And my cousin lent me this tower heater. And I think last night when I went to bed, back here inside camp now, obviously. But I think last night when I went to bed, where I left everybody on my heater review, my buzzed up heater review, which I haven't watched yet. I don't even know if I'll post it, but I guess I'll post it just to post it, but for the sake of this video. But yeah, my heater review last night, I think where we left off, I was running the Propane Buddy heater, trying to warm this place up because I had let it get cold, and I was running this tower heater. And I think when I said I went to bed, I was gonna let the Buddy heater run out of propane, and that was the plan. So the sun is really blinding coming in this window right now. I'm gonna pull the shade a little bit just to make it not so bad. We'll wipe the moisture off the glass, which I think isn't necessarily from the electric heater at all. But yeah, there we are. So there's our view out of camp. The same view we were just enjoying. But yeah, so I went to bed last night. It was cold last night, and when I've said this before, but I'll stress it. I can't stress it enough. When you let a camper or a tiny house get cold, and the walls get cold, I mean, it doesn't take long either. An hour without heat, and everything's going to be cold in this winter weather. But when you let it get cold, you have to heat it back up, and the Buddy heater puts out intense heat. I mean, there's fire, so it's the heat of fire coming off of it, compared to the electric heater, which is just a constant, gentle breeze of warm air. But when you let an RV tiny house like this cool down, it almost requires probably a full 1 pound of propane, the 1 pound tank, burnt at high in the buddy heater to bring the heat back into the camper. And then you got to, screw in another pound to keep the heat going. My point is it takes a lot of energy to warm them back up. And I've run as much as 3 different space heaters at the same time to bring the heat back up. And once you get it warm in a camper, as long as you're not opening the door for extended periods of time, in and out is fine. But if you're holding the door open for 5-10 seconds, you will cool this room off pretty quick. But it is all about getting the walls warm first, I think. So last night I came in and I was a little disappointed in my electric heat so far. My big black space heater in the back there, it performs awesome at the house, but on the end of this 100-foot extension cord with power strip, it just didn't perform. It was underpowered. It would glow red, it would blow hot air, but I just wasn't impressed with it. It felt like it needed a little bit more power, and it just wasn't getting it. So, and it would dim the lights. It just didn't feel safe either. So I had decided not to use that anymore until I got hardwired or something better with a better source of power for it. It just seemed like it was hungry for more power than I could get it, and it seemed dangerous. So. But I was at my cousin's last night, and he's drinking beer, and and we're hanging out, and I had a beer too, I think. And, I'm more into organics myself, but which are legal beagle up here in Michigan. But anyways, so I'm at my cousin's last night, and we're hanging out, and he says, "Well, take this heater with you, this white tower here." And he turned it on, and I kind of argued and said, well, I already have a good heater. It just doesn't work. The power's lacking or whatever. But I did notice this heater, even though it said it burned the same amount of power, excuse me, it seemed like it was a little less heavy duty. So I decided I'd give it a try. He said he wasn't using it, and, give it a shot. So last night when we did the heater review, I think I left where I said I was going to turn on the propane, and I did. There wasn't much left in the cylinder. I mean, I fell asleep, but it probably burned for another hour. So I turned on the propane and went to bed, and I also had the tower heater running, and that was my only 2 sources of heat. I fell asleep. I'm sure an hour later the propane buddy heater had ran out because the tank was low when I turned it on to go to bed. But I woke up multiple times this morning, and it's not because of the heater, but one thing I noticed when you sleep in a camper, you're breathing and recycling the air all night long, especially up in that top bunk. And the air does seem a little stale. Like, I woke up, I was thirsty, but it just seemed like... So I got up, drank a bottle of water, and I actually opened the door this morning and let fresh air in. I probably held it open for 5 to 10 seconds and let fresh air in. And there was cold air involved in that, so I mean, obviously. So it did cool it down here, but I crawled back into bed, and I have to say, through the whole night, and this morning being kind of stale air and me freshening it back up and then going back to sleep, I did not get cold at all. This tower heater... once it's warmed up in here, I don't know how strong it would be on a cold winter night to just warm it up on its own. I think it could take hours. I think the strength is there, but you feel the cold air blowing out of it, and the little bit of warm air it makes in a very cold room. It seems like it could take a long time to heat it up. But with the propane helper to get it warmed up. Or if I was living here, I would probably leave, the tower heater run 24/7, even when I was at work and stuff like that. Just to keep it, just like your house, you keep it warm when you're gone. I would keep this warm when I was gone too. And, when I come back, there's no more of this. when I'm here out camping, I mean, almost every time I come in, I have the power turned off. I come in and it is, you know, below zero out here. So I mean, you know, if I was going to be living in these situations in this tiny house, I would probably in the wintertime just leave the electric tower heater run. Maybe on a low setting. I mean, I've ran it on high all night. When you hold your hand over it, though, even right now, it doesn't seem like it's blowing out a ton of hot air. I mean, it's just a steady stream of warmth comes out of it. But that's all it takes once you warm up a tiny house. But the initial warm up does require, you know, to do it in any amount of time. Even with the buddy heater running and the tower heater running, and say I run my burner there on my cook stove, even if which throws a ton of heat, even if I'm running all three, and I come in here and it's cold, it takes a good hour to warm things up. So that's something people, you know, I hope that helps you if you're thinking about warming up a tiny house or staying warm in a tiny house. It does take a while before you could say, oh, it's comfortable in here, I can take my coat off. So, something to think about. But like I said, once it got warm, there's no doubt in my mind that tower heater could darn near heat this tiny house by itself if you kept it warm. It kept it running 24/7. It would heat it all winter for the most part. I would definitely want to have the propane for when the power went out and stuff like that. And for maybe there's really cold nights where, hey, I'm going to screw in one cylinder and I'm going to light it and I'm going to let it run for 4 hours on low. And that's going to be my extra 4 hours of heat tonight before bed. You know, something like that. I could see complementing the electric heater with it. But other than that, the electric heater did good. You know, and I would definitely recommend the buddy heaters for their own purpose. But the electric heater is nice because it's dry. I mean, I wiped this window off. With the propane, it would get foggy again. And it already was foggy. There's already moisture on it. But yeah, I wiped it off and it seems to be good to go. And I would say the chances of it staying dry are better with the electric heat. So, but we'll go outside. I'm probably going to shut down camp here. It's kind of the plan. But it's such a beautiful day. And I literally do have time before I'm going to drive back 7 hours today. But, do I drive all day or I could drive hard into the evening? I'm out here at camp. Do I spend the remaining amount of my time, focused on having some fun out here at camp? I really like the way the snow came off the roof. That's really neat. So, how do I want to... It's pretty hard, too. It's crusty. So, yeah, how do I want to do things? Do I want to leave right away? I have multiple cousins here. I grew up in the area. And one of my cousins, that's the driveway way down there past those maples, is where the road is. And now let me remind you, excuse me, I gotta clear my nose here. Let me remind you, no one lives on this road. So there's, on the other side of this old garage, and we use that as a chicken coop. On the other side of that, there is a kind of like a cabin, which you'll find in the UP. I don't think he actually built the cabin to avoid any kind of building permits, but it seems to be a collection of sheds. And I think there are times where the guys stay in there, but so here's one thing. We're walking in the farmyard, and there are tiny deer tracks here. They definitely, this was fresh too because it did snow a little bit last night. So, and then right over there in the woods, you can't see it, there's another cabin too. I guess I've walked far enough. I'll kind of show you that over there is And I don't even know if you can see it, but he's got a, it blends in pretty good, but there's a shed in there. There's a old Dodge SUV of some kind. So, like I said, he's got it all in there pretty good, but we'll zoom back out here. The road coming into camp was tough this time. We had warm temperatures, and my car struggled the whole way in. I have pretty good tires, but the traction control just was constantly engaging, and I was only able to come a few miles an hour. So I want to give thanks to my cousin. He did come through and drop the blade, and he opened it up for me nice, and I was able to park my car. So, you know, if I was, the county's supposed to plow my road here, but they don't. And they need to be complained to more, to let them know this isn't a seasonal road and don't think it is just because no one lives on it. And that's kind of what they're doing. But we'll walk back over here and kind of wrap this video up. We'll say goodbye to old Ma here. She's, I don't know, do they call it chewing her cud? These cows, I tell you what, I look out. Every morning I look out and they are just chewing away, just looking at me. There's the fence. That's electric. There's the old girl. Hi, baby. So, yeah. Like I said, every morning I come out here and they're just chewing away. Everything you see is part of my farm, part of my land. The cows, as you can see, they go off that way and they go down below the hill, which is more of my land, and that's where they seem to, he feeds them in the winter and stuff, and but he always feeds them on my land, which is good for my soil, I guess. But you know, having the hay here, he's not taking away, he's adding to it. So yeah, this old girl just standing here, peaceful morning here in Upper Michigan. I'm happy with the way things went this trip. The heaters, the combination of heaters I used, but I think the way things went last night, the way that heater, it doesn't dim the lights like my other electric heater did. I think I have a winner with that heater for now. My plan is, though, I guess I'll give a quick overview of what we're thinking at this moment. So where my electric heater runs out of that building, my electric cord, there used to be power lines here, overhead. So I'll try to zoom in there. Up at that top window, I think, is where they would come out. There might even be insulators. And then they come over and they go to that pole on this building here. So the plan is we're going to run an overhead power line to that pole and then down into this building. And from this building, we're going to run real power, not an extension cord, into the camper, and have a couple, outlets to plug in where I can run any space heater I want, even my old black one I might start using again. So that's kind of the plan for now. But we did have a good trip up here, and as things are right now, I mean, we can make do with our LED lights and the space heater, this tower heater. It's been running this whole time. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't seem to dim the lights or anything. So I'm going to leave that here. I'm going to take home my black heater because it's more use for me back home in my apartment for now. I rarely use it there. But once in a while it does help heat things up. And I'll take the Buddy heater home just because I don't 100% feel comfortable leaving it here. So I just put it in my trunk when I go. And like I said, I'll take that home too. But we'll leave the tower. It's old. My cousin basically, he said I could use it indefinitely. But if I had to replace it, I mean, if someone took it or whatever, I would definitely replace it. It's not that big of a deal. But a lot of the stuff here, I know it's a cluster, but a handful of the items here I take home. I take home the light, the extra batteries, the flashlight, stuff like that. I'll leave the toothbrush and toothpaste here this time because I forgot my other one. So I have a brand new one here. I'll leave it here. The bottled water and stuff I just leave in here. The propane cylinders I leave in here. The lights I'm going to leave in here. I did think about bringing that light home with me, that bare lamp, just because I have a little lamp at home that I don't like anymore. But it was so cheap, I might just stop at Walmart and buy another one. So the air conditioner we still haven't seen run yet, but in time we will. So I'm going to wrap up this video inside the tiny house. We'll take one last look around at camp before I'm going to pack up my bedding up there. The thing about the bedding is I leave the air mattress. Part of the reason for the air mattress is the mice have no interest in it. So I've yet to see a mouse inside the camp. I try to keep it that way. I try to clean up all my food crumbs. But there definitely was mouse poop in the sink and stuff when I came back over the last week. So they definitely are getting in here. I think they're coming in here after I leave. The top bunk here, just to give you another idea, I mean, there's my ratty old pillows, but right there to right there. So I get in there. I'm a big guy. I get in there. That air gets stale up there, and the heat goes up there. So definitely sleep well up there. And if need be, I would throw my air mattress down there in the bottom bunk. It does fit nicely down there. It's kind of weird how it drops. It's recessed down into the floor, but yeah. So, all right, I'm going to wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope my heater review helped some people, with ideas on heating their own RV if you haven't done it yet or whatever. I would almost say the propane buddy heater. I mean, that one there is rated for indoor, and it supposedly has a low oxygen shutoff. I would say that's almost a must-have, even if you're going to use an electric space heater. It's a good backup to have. It's a good booster if you want to throw that extra heat into the room, into the tiny house to get warmed up. But once you're warmed up, that electric heater will at least for me, it kept me going. So, all right, we'll take one last look out the window. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up. And you all have a good day. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it, but I understand if you don't. It just helps me out a little bit if you do. I'm just curious to see if, can I get a bunch of subscribers? Are people watching this or whatever? So hit a like or a comment or whatever. But either way, have a good day. Take care.